Hey, business storytellers, how's it going, everyone? Christoph Trapp here, your host of the Business Storytelling Podcast, another live stream. We're live on all the different. Hey, business storytellers, how's it going, everyone? Christoph Trapp here, your host of the Business Storytelling Podcast, another live stream. We're live on all the different channels: Periscope, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Amazon, and that's probably enough to keep me busy to pay attention to what's going on here. But today we want to talk about reading body language. And what's interesting about this topic that has come to my attention is we are more and more on Zoom calls. I have not left this spot in my house in 9 months, so it seems. Given a keynote in Singapore, given a keynote in Istanbul, and let me tell you, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing to be just standing here, no travel, etc., etc. But how do we read body language when it comes to Zoom calls, when it comes to video calls? And let me tell you one thing. This whole video call thing, that's a pandemic thing. I've been working at home for a while, and I have not had that many video calls before the pandemic, quite frankly. But body language is interesting. I always tell people, this is my resting, thinking face. That's how I look. You know, I'm not thinking about anything negative about you. But I want to learn about body language over Zoom. So who better to invite on the show? Susan Ibitz. She is from the Human Behavior Lab. I actually heard her on the Content Call Out podcast recently. And they have an episode coming up with me as well, I think sometime in January. And I invited her right on, and she had some time to chat. So let's get her out of the green room here on Switcher Studio. Susan, how's it going today?
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks for making the time. And always appreciate inviting guests on that have something that we can learn from. So you're a human behavior hacker. Well, I mean, what the heck is that?
Well, I've been called a human polygraph too, and that was really conflicted. People start like going to my jugular. Human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans. Well known as a profiler. What I do is I profile people. The difference between what I do and maybe other experts does is I never was any three agent letters. I'm a civilian hostage negotiator. I study with Israeli military interrogator, with FBI, CIA. I study with them, but I never belong with them. So I have that weird mix that I can translate things that are extremely complicated in everyday life and business. I do training and working with lawyers, hostage negotiators, and police, and I work with sales reps and realtors and managers, help them to understand others. So basically what I do is I utilize body language, micro expressions, statement analysis, forensic analysis. They're two different things. I do personality types, face reading profiling, and now due to the pandemic, like most people have pivot, I teach people how to read faces and emotions with masks to try to become to the most normal setting and interaction possible.
Interesting. Salespeople and hostage negotiators. I mean, that's very related, I guess.
Believe it or not, it's a relationship. And all my
Yeah.
teachers that I say is like, what is the most difficult part? To negotiate with a hostage taker or your spouse? My spouse. No way. Yeah, definitely. You always lose in that settings.
You always lose in that setting. I've given up to negotiate at home. Kids, go pick up the thing, pick up your toys. I'm running the vacuum cleaner. So when it comes to, so reading body language, though, on Zoom has become a lot harder, right? I mean, I can manipulate how I look. I can manipulate, I mean, so you might be the first person on the show. So if you guys are listening to this on the podcast version, we're still live streaming this thing. So let me just describe to you how Susan sits. It's in her office, very on brand, HBL, Human Behavior Lab in the background there, and pillows with the H. And it really shows most of your body, right? You're sitting there, and I don't think there's ever been anybody else that has shown everything. And that's how I do it too, right? I'm like this. And if you're watching, I'm very deliberate how I set this up because the door to the office is over there. So when my kids walk in or somebody walks in, it takes a lot of effort before you ever see them. In fact, I'm currently standing, so, they don't even reach up that high, at least one of them. So my point is we can frame ourselves differently, of course, how we show up. But how can we read body language when it comes to all these Zoom calls that people are on nonstop?
A couple of numbers, then I'm a geeky, so you can see my back. This is my heaven on earth, like I told you, my books and my skulls and my corner. Yeah, definitely I brand myself. The name of the company starts with that H, so I have everything in orange and white. I always wear in black. Today I'm wearing my human behavior hacker hat because I'm on vacation, so I haven't done my hair. My apologies, but I still want to be here. There are three things that we need to get in consideration. 80% of the population suffer glossophobia. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. This is worse. You're a keynote speaker too. So when you get on a stage, you have the nervousness, but as soon as you start interacting with the audience, you forgot that you're here. But in this case, for example, I'm seeing myself and I start looking like, oh my God, this hair, it's out of space. Like you're becoming so self-aware of yourself. 25% of the plastic surgeries has increased. Most of plastic surgeons have 4 months waiting list because now you see yourself all the time. You don't have the distractions in a meeting when you meet in a coffee or you're having lunch with a client. The waitress coming, the sound, the things happen, but now you're the center. So there are two things about body language that you need to have in consideration. It's not only the other person, it's yours. We have something called reaction action. If I do this and the other person react, it's not because they're acting because something get bad with them. It's because your attitude, because you're tired, because you have been in Zoom for 8 hours. This is your last meeting and you cannot wait because you smell your wife cooking on the kitchen and you want to get away from that. So we need to greet ourselves first and second the other person. In my case, Zoom calls is the best that happened to me. Why? Because I can put all the channels of behavior in front of the computer. Most people before, they talk on the phone. Now they jump on a Zoom call. So I can read your face, I can read your expressions, I can read your body, your mannerism, and I can see what you try to avoid. Now I see what is your ambience, what is your jungle, where you belong. I can refer to like everybody who can see my life and say, oh, Susan, you like skulls, you like books, your branding is orange. I can put all together in a call. So instead to fight with Zoom, instead to fight with any system, because not only Zoom, you can utilize it and profile everyone way faster than a simple email or a simple phone call, even though when you can do it.
And of course, the other thing that's interesting about video calls, it's not an exact science because here's the thing, right? So I'm talking to you, but to see you, I actually have to look like this. This is why you see me looking over there. But to look at the camera, if I'm truly talking at you, like in real life, I would look right there, right? Which is another thing to consider. And the one thing, I'm going to take this opportunity, my friends, we are live streaming this with Restream, restream.io, join C-Trap. You get a little bit off there if you sign up for that. Multi-channel, we're going to Amazon Live, Periscope, LinkedIn, all the different channels. That's a fantastic deal. And then finally, we're producing it with Switcher Studio live stream with them. Use Trap 1 for the first month off. But how much of a problem, Susan, does that create when, because I'm looking at you, like right now I'm looking at you, but right now I'm looking at the camera, which is more natural for the people watching, but it's not natural for me. So that's another problem we're facing because it's not all as aligned as me looking in your eyes when we're sitting across the table from each other.
Well, one other thing is I have a second monitor. I have a 60-inch TV connected to a second computer so I can see how the monitor is going and the left side. But in this case, I have the camera just located on the top of the computer and I put 2 red stickers. So my eye, instead to get distracted with me all the time, I can see the camera. and I can have a visual rest of watching at myself. So one of the things that I can advise is put 2 stickers on the top of the camera, so you start looking on the camera. If you're using more than one monitor, like I have 3 monitors, I have a computer and 3 monitors, I make sure that the camera is on top of the computer so I can have you an eye level. One of the things, I know I shouldn't be wearing a hat, but again, not the best hair day you can have today on vacation. But I put the camera so deliberately I can watch to you, talk to you. And the normal human interaction visually is between 60 and 70% on a communication. In this case, Zoom is like, I'm watching you, I'm looking at you, like you are the center of the attention. So maybe tilt it a little and get a more comfortable situation where you look in the camera, you comment about something and go back and forth, so you don't make the other person be so self-aware. Because it's literally, I have people says, I think being naked in the middle of New York is going to be less painful. They have somebody looking at me all the time. So one of the advice that I give people is try not to set the screen on the speaker. Try to get all the people on the screen so you can be talking to other people and watch out. Thank you for having the hack. And watching to other people and go in your eyes and like, oh, for example, you're Christoph, I talking to you. So when I'm watching on the camera, when I'm watching on the computer, it's like you see me looking at you and your image and go to the camera, like I can see you do this and you can go back and forth. It's less stressful for you. It's less stressful for the other person too.
First of all, I also don't have a good hair day today, so I put on a hat. No worries. We can all wear hats on here. This is the Washington football team, which, by the way, has the best drama this year. Oh, my goodness, if you follow the NFL at all. But I'm kind of a stoic guy, Susan, right? Like, even when I'm excited, I mean, I grew up in Germany, and I still remember when I came to the U.S., they said, you have to smile in your pictures for your exchange family. And I said, I am smiling. And they said, no, that's not how Americans smile. Americans smile like this. And they showed us pictures. You have to show your teeth, right?
Weird,
no?
weird.
But anyway, but that is how we smile, right? We don't smile. Like when I had somebody from, every time I have somebody from Europe on, basically, there's not as many smiles as some other people. Anyway, that's a little bit of a stereotype here. But my point is I'm stoic. I'm listening, I might nod my head. When I was on TV, I had people text me saying, you can smile more. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here. How do we put that together when we read people? How, like, I'm not negative. I'm nothing. Like the other day, I saw a clip of myself starting one of these shows. You know how we have the starting soon on? And I do this. I'm like, and I'm literally just making sure we're live on all the channels. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not anything. So how do people learn how to read better body language when they don't see you or they don't necessarily know your mannerisms?
First of all, is baseline. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you a question. How you count 1, 2, 3 with your fingers?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. So, and my 6-year-old, I'll show you. But my 6-year-old tells me I'm doing it wrong. So I count like this, right? 1, 2, 3, which is European or German.
That's in United States, this is 1, 2, 3.
Correct.
So one of the things is like, okay, guys, what we're going to be learning first, as soon as the first finger come up, I know if you have been raised in Europe or you have been raised in the United States. Mm-hmm. So one of the things to know who you are. Second of all, talk about simple things. Like it's, for example, one of the weirder things is when you come in live and you don't know who is going to be on the meeting. One of my best advice is send the agenda for the meeting 24 hours in advance. I remember yesterday we were coordinating and I was driving you crazy. Can you send me the link? Do you have the graphic? What is the time? What is the topic? What do you need from me? Because everybody on the team is on vacation. I'm doing it by myself and I'm used to for Anne to do it for me. But I want to make sure that everything is on set. And by the way, 5 minutes before the live, I'm like, where the heck is the link? Oh my God, I lost the link. And I was nervous that send an agenda 24 hours in advance and who is going to be on the meeting? Because not everybody like each other in a company. You're not going to maybe liking everybody on the meeting. But if you know who's going to be there and for some reason you don't have any icebreakers with that person because you don't have rapport, you can have your list of icebreakers. I can say, like, hey, where are you located? How you doing? Like, While you're standing, it's better for your back. Look for things that you can relate to each other, but do not talk about the pandemic. Don't talk about how bad you're doing it. Don't engage in negative things before you're going to start in a meeting, because you're going to see the people start getting smaller and getting depressed. And you don't want that feeling. The first feelings I'm going to have and the last feeling I'm going to have is in the beginning of the meeting and at the end. Whatever happened in the middle, I can forget about it. But if you get on the camera like, hey, how you doing? How great. No, it's uncomfortable. Be camera ready. And the moment that you click on the mouse or you click on your computer, you need to understand that you are live and people is going to be looking at you. So do not correct your hair. Do not correct your makeup. And please do not pick your nose. And don't check that if your tooth like I have painted. No. Be camera ready. And be camera ready is to be comfortable. I'm in my vacation mood in my living room. I try to be relaxed because we're talking about body language. There's a lot of weight on that. So I'm comfortable. I'm crossing my legs. We're making this a little more informal. And you can see my hands moving. So always trying to, have a camera in a 90-degree angle. Like you and I, we haven't. I'm not looking down to you. You're not looking down to me. So if I please, begging, I think that I'm better than you are. So always try to get 90-degree camera angle. Second of all, center yourself on the image. Even though my background is extremely busy, because I'm surrounded by orange and I'm wearing black in the middle, you center your image on me. But when you get bored, you can start watching and speak and picking on one of the things that I have on the background. Another thing, what you have to say is really important, but the sound too. Can you imagine if I have my mic doing this all the time? Oh, you can hear me and a loose voice. Get a good camera, get your content ready, and have a good mic. Another thing, have all the things that you need for your meeting in front of you. I have 2 mouse in my little table because I'm controlling the big TV and the small mouse for my computer. I have my drink, I have my tea because I've been talking a lot, so my throat hurt. I have my cell phone in case that we need to communicate, but I don't have it in vibrator. I have it in silent. When you have a cell phone in vibrating, do this on the table. And I can hear and I can see the lighting. So try to have the cell phone turned down so the lighting doesn't come up in your face. Another really, really important thing. If I talk to you not showing my hands, I can be hiding something. If we walk in on a street or you're walking in a meeting and you walk in this way and I don't see your hands, I don't know if you're hiding something. I don't know if you're a fraud, a threat, or a friend. So why are we hiding our hands and not showing our torso when we're talking? The perfect setting for a video conference is to show in at least 2 fingers on top of your head from the umbilical cord up and some space to move your hands. Do your hands movement the same way that you do it. This is a visual setting, so we need a visual way to emphasize what we're doing. I can be doing a demo presentation. I can be showing you a PowerPoint, but at the end, I'm happy to be here. I hope that we can close this together. So I'm putting us together. Our company and your company gonna close the deal. You see what I did? It's not like you and I, we're going to be working together and we're going to be closing the deal. I don't see your hands. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. But we have in this like nervous mood that we get at typically what we used to in a meeting. Just happened that we're doing in a video. Just need to send your mindset in a different way. Stop being afraid.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely correct. People are hiding something when they're not showing their whole upper body on video. And I am, and I can tell you what it is. It's those 30 pounds around my waist that I need to lose in the new year. But all joking aside.
It's legal. Everybody we call it the 10-pound COVID love handle. Yeah. Everybody have that. Don't worry. I need to lose 10.
Well, anyway, I'm halfway kidding. I mean, it's always the case, honestly, that I got to lose weight or whatever. But it's true. I mean, it's, and actually what I do a lot of times, I bring up my hands up here. And of course, I got a little bit of a tighter angle than what you have, right? Because it's my iPad and maybe I need to move away. How do you, on Amazon Live, before I'm going to ask you this, we are highlighting some of these products that you can actually purchase on Amazon for better Zoom calls. And one is the lighting. I have a light on top of the screen. You have probably a much fancier setup, but I got one ring light. It's not even mine. It's my 12-year-old. I got the iPad, right? I got the iPad on a tripod. So it's sitting there, so I'm not holding it. It's mostly stable. And then I have the ear pods. Switcher now allows you to use AirPods. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. And when I use AirPods, I can back up a little bit, right? So I can actually end up with a wider angle, which right now I'm
Mine
out
is
of
called
I'm out of
cable
room.
extension. You see,
Yep,
I have a cable extension, so I have almost 8 feet of cable. You see?
yep.
I'm going to disconnect the audio for a second. You see?
So that's
So it's a cable extension. So it's going from my microphone and I have as many feet I need so I can be relaxed and not be an slave of the cable proportion you have. So it cost me $5. I went to Amazon, I get $5. So when I'm doing keynotes, 50% of my business is travel around the world doing keynotes. And I have the luxury to working from home in my basement, 8 studios. So remember that I told you what is the branding, what is the color, I have curtains, I have people who set the studios, and I've been doing keynotes with a monitor and the microphone and the cameras and the lighting, and I need to move. I'm a person who moves. I'm kinetic. So I need to be moving, and I find out myself that I was restricted, and more than one I disconnect from my cable. So what I did is I talked to a friend who is a TV producer and says, okay, I need to move this to the next level. And 3 years ago, we moved completely online. I do a lot of work in Germany. And last week I was doing a training in Israel in the morning and London in the evening. What? From my lovely studio here in my house. And it's working. But you need to have the gadget. You need to take notes. Every time that you have a call, a video call, and you encounter a problem, take a note about the problem. You can go to blogs and says, hey guys, I have this problem, or I'm having technical problems. I need something to fix this. Like, oh, great. Go to Amazon. This is the link. Get a $8 cable extension. Is going to give you five feet of cable, and you can move it like, oh my God, it's freedom. I don't need to be connected to the cable anymore. So there are solutions for all the problems, and not all the solutions are expensive. Sometimes I just put my computer on top of a few books, and that's it.
Yeah, I've done that too. So your setup though are you mic'd with a lavalier, or what are you mic'd with? Where is your mic?
A Blue Jetty.
Okay, so it's up there. Interesting. And it picks you
Yeah,
out
but I
that
have
far.
it countertied, so I have it only facing my voice. So if you get another thing, people, if things coming from with a manual, maybe you need to read it before you start using it. Like we don't come with a manual. But
Guilty.
hello, when I got my Blue Jetty, I spent hours going through the manual, and I was recording in different times. For example, I live on the forest, and we have an extremely windy day. I already have set up my backup internet in case that we lose connection, that is really windy. If I wouldn't have my microphone to capture absolutely everything, we wouldn't have a problem. For example, I have thick carpet. I'm sitting on top of this part of the office have a thick carpet, so the sound is better, and I lower my ceilings to make sure that I have a better sound. You don't need to go to that complexity, but more things you have in the room, less echoey you feel. Do you know what is the best place to have a Zoom call and people make laugh at me?
Where?
The bathroom.
How
for
so?
the for the acoustic.
Huh. Like it's better in the bathroom?
Yeah, it's better in the bedroom because you have the curtain for the curtain shower. And so if you in any way can
Okay.
have a curtain shower that is green, that look like
Yeah.
for doing the fake background, first of all, put a sign on the door. Hey, it's not number 1, number 2, it's number 3. It's called work. Do not knock
call.
on the wall,
Huh.
on the door. I'm in a Zoom call. You can use the fake background, and the sound is so compressed that even if you don't have a good microphone, you can do it on the bathroom. And people laugh at me until they try it, and like, you know what? My family doesn't show up. I am in my space. Nobody bothers me. The lighting reflects way better, and you only need one little light to illuminate all the bathrooms. So do not discard the option to go create it.
So repeat for anybody listening to this at 3.0 speed, which some of these podcast channels now allow you to do, which is unbelievable, quite frankly. I listen 1.2, 1.5 sometimes, but 3.0 is crazy. Repeat, in the bathroom, but that doesn't mean you're going to the bathroom. It's not one of those funny videos. Have you seen those where people
Oh
go
my
to the Zoom?
God.
Oh my goodness. And they forgot to turn the camera off and they put the camera down. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So, but Susan, tell me this. So, you're doing something for a client or you're speaking somewhere, and I do that too. And certainly you want to look a certain way, you want to appear a certain way. But how about internal calls? What's the importance of looking the right way when it comes to internal calls with your company, those kind of things? Do all these things apply? Do I have to go through all these things to look a certain way for those meetings?
Will you take a shower, brush your teeth, and get dressed to go to a meeting? Yes. You even gonna
Well,
put perfume
right
too.
now, it's hit and miss.
But in a normal meeting, or you're gonna do a keynote speaking, you're gonna make sure even your shoes are polished.
Correct.
So this is the same. Because you have been wearing pajamas all day, it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't deserve the same dedication that you put in a regular meeting. So when people says like, oh, I'm gonna be doing my meeting in pajamas, you would go to a meeting in pajamas. Like we don't come with a manual. But
Guilty.
hello, when I got my Blue Cherry, I spent hours going through the manual and I was recording in different times. For example, I live on the forest and we have extremely windy day. I already have set up my backup internet in case that we lose connection, that is really windy. If I wouldn't have my microphone to capture absolutely everything, we would have a problem. For example, I have thick carpet. I'm sitting on top of this part of the office have a thick carpet, so the sound is better, and I lower my ceilings to make sure that I have a better sound. You don't need to go to that complexity, but more things you have in the room, less echoey you feel. Do you know what is the best place to have a Zoom call and people make laugh of me?
Where?
The bathroom.
How
for
so?
for the acoustic.
Huh. Like it's better in the bathroom?
Yeah, it's better in the bedroom because you have the curtain for the curtain shower. And so if you in any way can have a curtain shower that is green, that look like for doing the fake background, first of all, put a sign on the door. Hey, it's not number one, number two, it's number three. It's called work. Do not knock on the wall, on the door. I'm in a Zoom call. You can use the fake background, and the sound is so compressed that even if you don't have a good microphone, you can do it on the bathroom. And people laugh at me until they try it, and like, you know what? My family doesn't show up. I'm in my space. Nobody bothers me. The lighting reflects way better, and you only need one little light to illuminate all the bathrooms. So do not discard the option to go create it.
So repeat for anybody listening to this at 3.0 speed, which some of these podcast channels now allow you to do, which is unbelievable, quite frankly. I listen 1.2, 1.5 sometimes, but 3.0 is crazy. Repeat, in the bathroom, but that doesn't mean you're going to the bathroom. It's not one of those funny videos. Have you seen those where people go to the Zoom? Oh my goodness. And they forgot to turn the camera off and they put the camera down. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So, but Susan, tell me this. So, you're doing something for a client or you're speaking somewhere, and I do that too. And certainly you want to look a certain way, you want to appear a certain way. But how about internal calls? What's the importance of looking the right way when it comes to internal calls with your company, those kind of things? Do all these things apply? Do I have to go through all these things to look a certain way for those meetings?
Will you take a shower, brush your teeth, and get dressed to go to a meeting? Yes. You even gonna put perfume
right now,
too.
it's hit and miss.
But in a normal meeting, or you're gonna do a keynote speaking, you're gonna make sure even your shoes are polished.
Correct.
So this is the same. Because you have been wearing pajamas all day, it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't deserve the same dedication that you put in a regular meeting. So when people says like, oh, I'm going to be doing my meeting in pajamas, you would go to a meeting in pajamas with your client? No, it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is now we're doing virtually. That is about respect. If I were to show with my zebra pajamas and I was wearing this morning, it would be disrespectful to you and your audience. And what kind of respect I can have to this person talking about body language. And I'm wearing a really relaxed setting, but I have my makeup together. I have my hat which says human behavior hacker. It's the lighting is correct. The audio is correct. It's for respect to you that you have me as a guest. So I think it's about respect to show up the same way you would show in a meeting. Again, when people complain and like, you will go to the pajamas, in pajamas to your work? No, except that it's Halloween. You don't do that. So make the effort to show up the way you expecting other people show up. The codes of ethics haven't changed because we are in COVID, actually getting higher and actually getting simple too. Because after a meeting, after this live with you, I'm going to have another meeting. So I have another set it up. I'm going to change my sweater. I'm going to put another one, change the hat and move on.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, certainly the rules have changed a little bit when it comes to COVID, especially. But if people follow the advice to show more of themselves, you can't wear the pajama bottoms, right? You have to look a certain way.
Who told you this is not black pajamas?
So I do have maybe 3 or 4 Under Armour. They look like dress pants, but they actually are sweatpants, but they don't look that way. So it's very, very interesting. So Susan, tell us how Human Behavior Lab, how do people work with you? I know you have some courses. Tell us about that. How can they partner with you?
Actually, the first class that we delivered was body language for video, how not to become the joke. And the first part of the video, when you go to the class, is all this accident when people show semi-naked when the person is on the video Zoom or you're trying to do a video and somebody show up on the kitchen to have a glass of water. So if you want to know about us and training 101, it's humanbehaviorlab.com. If you want to get the pre-package and how to learn how to read everyone in 90 seconds, you can go to Human Behavior Hacker School, or the both websites are interconnected. We publish a lot on the media. We give all the team 2 weeks vacation because we have been working 19 hours nonstop for the last 4 months. It's been crazy. I cannot complain. I'm thank to God. We are so busy. We incorporate new people to the team. So we are not going to be publishing a lot and being too much outside until January 4, but you can Google us, you can find us on LinkedIn, and we love to interact. And I do reply to all my texts and I do reply to all my emails because I want to know you better.
Fantastic. Hopefully people learn something, and not just that they learned it, but that they also will use it when they have Zoom meetings or
I have a trick for your audience.
Yeah.
Can you see the difference in my face when I do this? The lighting in the definition in my face. You can see it?
You're kind of small though. Okay, so what's that?
Okay, this is something that you can put even in your bag when I travel and I need to do conference. So this is a diffuser. Sometimes due to the pandemic, a lot of things have gotten more expensive. You know how you can do a diffuser? Grab the foil from your kitchen that you used to grill the chicken. So use the most shiny part and put it under you. So that's make a definition on your face and you don't have weird shadows. Even though I'm wearing a hat, I don't have weird definition shadows in my face. So put it on top of your table. Practice a little what is the best way. For somebody who has more brown skin or is blonde, the gold part is better. In this case, I always use the silver because I have a brand, always black lipstick, wearing black and white skin, really, really palish white skin that is natural. I'm not wearing any makeup beside lipstick. But do the diffusion on your face, get definition. People need to see your expressions and people need to see the movement in your face. If you have shadows and you suddenly, I don't know if that was a contempt and a smile, I'm going to spend more time trying to define what was your expression than what I need to say to you. And most important, do a baseline. Like you said, my face, usually when I'm thinking like, I frown my upper my forehead, not because I'm mad, it's because that way people think. So be careful who you study with. Be careful who you learn into. Most people now, everybody's an expert in body language. Everybody know about this. When 10 months before, they didn't know what is the word body language. So be careful who you're talking to, because when you incorporate something that is wrong, it's really difficult to undo. We do that with sales rep. We spend more time cleaning their brain from all the trash they learn from the wrong places and putting the right information. And even though sometimes it doesn't work. So be careful who you're training with.
And it's very true. Everybody is an expert at whatever. But I mean, same with marketing. Everybody is an expert at marketing. Don't get me started. The one thing I want to show you, I think I got it right here somewhere. Oh, yeah, there it is. I didn't use it today, Susan, but I do have this. It's actually CoverGirl True Blend. And I do have this.
I would just add my next one. Guys, concealer is for you too. It's nothing wrong to use some concealer.
No.
Test it on the palm of your hand. Mix it 50-50 with cream. Put it with your fingers under your eyes. Not everybody having a good time, so don't show it. Like, yeah, it's nothing wrong. How many actors use makeup? It's nothing wrong to use it. Look the best you can.
Yep. And see, there's actually a difference. So it's kind of interesting because it is, I don't know what time it is here, 3:40 Central Time. And so it is getting dark out and there's a light on the other side of the iPad. And when there's a lot of sunlight, the lighting is, of course, even better. But right now with, the sun coming down, so sometimes you just put that on a little bit. And it wasn't super expensive. CoverGirl True Blend. You can probably get it on Amazon. I don't remember where I got it. I've had it for 2 years and it takes me a while to use up, quite frankly.
There is nothing wrong with that. You need to look the best. And by the way, we want to be around people who lift us up, who they look good. And look good doesn't mean that you need to be a model from the runaway. They look good on their attitude, their body language. They're open. They lift us up. If, like Maya Angelou used to say, I'm not going to remember what you says or what you do, but I'm going to remember how you make me feel. If I make you smile, if I feel comfortable, if I feel relaxed, and you're going to feel the same way. If you're not having a good day, piece of advice, try not to do Zoom after Zoom. Try to block phone calls with Zoom. And when you're doing a phone call, try to walk. That's going to jump your body and your brain and it's going to wake it up being in this steady position. I fell and I broke my kneecap on Saturday. You know why? Because I spent so much time sitting that my muscles are weak. It was a really good call that I need to pay attention. Another one. If you're having a hard day, how many times you're like, oh my God, I cannot do this. Go online and watch funny videos.
My name is
that is gonna pump your oxytocin. And when you're smiling, when you're smiling, real smile, because you're happy, because you're feeling good, the other person is gonna smile too. Smiling is more contagious than a flu. If somebody sneezes on a subway, there are probably less people get the flu than somebody smile, and they're going to go uncontrollably. We did a social experiment when we were showing videos for a minute during 7 days. I had people who called me and says, when you going to do it again? I was waiting for your video. So in January 4, we're going to start publishing one a day around 2 p.m., 1 minute to 2 minute videos. Funny, silly things. Puppet, people falling, trying to learn to ski, for you to watch and after a week evaluate. And if when you have that draining meeting that you don't want to have, smiling for 2 minutes, it helps you to go through.
So the walking, I like that as well. I have an office treadmill actually that you can walk on really slow. And the whole Zoom call thing, first of all, even if you don't have a bad day, don't do Zoom calls back to back to back to back. I mean, seriously. Susan, it was great to have you on the show. Really appreciate you sharing your insights, teaching us about how to frame yourself better. And I'm always happy when people agree with my makeup tips. Definitely call that an area of improvement. Susan, thanks again for joining us today. Really appreciate it.